This is episode 62 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. On this episode, we talk about JK's marathon he ran this last weekend. We go a little deep, talk about his fueling strategy and pacing. Then, I am at the RedBull HYROX Coaches Camp. I give you a deep dive and a little background information on what we're doing here, why we're doing it, and what's going on. We have a lot to cover in this episode. It ends up being a little long, but it's exciting. So, let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
I am well, thank you, Anthony. How are you going?
I am good. Very exhausted, very tired, fueled on caffeine, mainly from the source of Red Bull, and trying to not crash. Last night, okay, so we'll just start. I'm at the RedBull HYROX coaches camp this week, and I got super jet. It's like always the second or third night, right? After you fly somewhere, that's when it hits. And I got yesterday, got done with dinner. I was laying on my bed, like still gross because like we worked out late in the day and we hadn't had a chance to get showered. We had just gone like straight to dinner. I laid on my bed to call Lauren and I'm talking to her and she's getting ready to go for a bike ride. So we didn't have a long chat. We hung up and I was like, all right, I got to get up and shower. Instead, this was like 10 p.m. here. Instead, I passed out and I didn't wake up until like 1:30 in the morning, like knocked out. Uh, got up at like 1:30 and I was like, oh crap. Like I I I slept. I'm still like gross. And so I get up, I shower, like take care of some like we got a pretty nice setup here. It's
Yeah.
like a really we'll probably talk more about it, but got this hotel lodge thing that we're in. Like everybody has almost their own like house basically, but it's split into three sections. So like I have my own room, person next to me has like their own room that has a split, and somebody upstairs above us. There's three different
Yeah.
entrances. We're at Silverstone, which is the British Grand Prix like racetrack. It's like literally over the fence from us. Uh, so like I just cleaned up a little, took the shower, went back to bed, and I'm JK, I think you know this. I don't usually recently, summertime hours, I don't get up early. I get up early in the winter time, not in the
Yeah.
summertime. Uh,
Yeah.
we had like 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. workouts and calls so far these past few days, and we got another one tomorrow, and I I am like dragging.
You're never up before like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, hey?
So in the winter, I usually like I'll start waking up like 5, 6 a.m. and going to bed a little earlier. In the
Yeah.
summer, especially now that we moved back to Las Vegas, it's too hot in the day to like for me to go run. So I'll do
Yeah.
like midnight and 1 a.m. runs or like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. runs, uh, which means that like I don't get to bed till like 2 or 2:30 in the morning. Um,
Never
but
sleep.
yeah, I end up sleeping until 8, 9 o'clock most days because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So waking up at 6 a.m. and actually working out at that time as well is
Yeah,
pretty.
it is different right now. But I'm
Yeah.
also in a time zone that's 8 hours different.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's like I'm all sorts of messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I I got when I got here, like of course, like I talked to people I know them, and they told me, yeah, we thought something weird was happening because you go months without posting, and then all of a sudden you're posting these stories of these dad selfies visiting landmarks in London back to back to
Yeah.
back. Because
I was
went on a
about,
run, and I went and saw like Buckingham Palace and Big Ben and like the the chapel or what is it? Yeah, just like all the things to see. Um, Piccadilly Square, like all that stuff, and like platform 9 3/4. And it's just I went on a run around that area,
Yeah.
and then before I had to take a train up here.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, it was interesting. Lots of fun. Do you want to get into it? So sorry guys, we're a few minutes in now on this. Today we are number one going to recap JK's marathon. We've been
Hmm.
talking about it. JK has ran a marathon that we've led up to for ever since after Worlds. And then I want to tell you guys what's going on at the RedBull HYROX coaching camp, coaches camp,
Yeah.
um, which we were just talking about a little bit. So I'll talk more about that. But first, JK, your marathon. Tell me, how many weeks did we prepare for this?
It was a 5 week proper, yeah, 5 weeks plus the taper, right? Would you say that?
I
So
wouldn't really count your week in Bali, so I would have said 4 weeks plus a taper week.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So 4 solid weeks of marathon prep.
I did
So
think you were gonna say at first I've been training my whole life for this, but yeah,
well, well, to be honest, yeah, I could pretty much state the last 10 years I've been training for a marathon, but no, properly, it was pretty much straight after Worlds, and um, we probably got 4 solid weeks of proper marathon prep. But obviously, due to it being only 4 weeks, it was slightly different as well. Yeah, the marathon was it was good on Sunday. So it's literally four days since the marathon. And I ran a 2:37:14. Um,
what's that in
and
space?
yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. If you've listened to Anthony and my podcast prior to this, like I was always going to go out and try to I don't know, try to run like a 2:30 and try to be on pace for a 2:30 marathon. Or even slightly faster than that. And that's what I did. I went out and tried to hang on to about a three. It ended up being like a 3:35 average pace at the halfway mark. So slightly slower than a 2:30, but I guess the one thing that, and I don't think I've said this to you, Anthony, there was when the gun went off, there was there was actually the Australian, one of the best Australian like marathon runners, Ryan Gregson, was in the field, and we all knew that he was going to take off, and he was I think he ended up running a 2:14 or a 2:13. So I obviously wasn't going to think about hanging on to him. But then there was a few group of there was a group of lads that went out at about a 2:25 marathon pace, right? Which is like a 3:25 per kilometer pace. And within the first kilometer, I thought to myself, there was a part of me that was like, should I hang on to these guys? um, and or not, and I ended up not. I ended up like choosing the smarter option, because the 3:25 per kilometer pace would have been slightly aggressive right from the word go. So I was kind of like running with one other guy for the first half, Anthony, and him and I were kind of like changing the lead, and um yeah, I think I ended up going through the halfway at a 116 and change, to then obviously like
I think you were like a 1:15:30 something. I
was
didn't
I
screenshot your splits. I wanted to. Yeah. I was
oh
like
yeah,
really
you
surprised. I was
should.
like, isn't that almost what you ran your half marathon last year was 1:15?
Yep, yep.
So you ran, I think you ran
Um,
like a 1:15:38 or something through
I think you're
the
right.
halfway.
I'm actually going to get it up now just so we know. But interesting, right? Because the here we go.
So he was quick. He ran basically his
Yeah,
PR
one
half
fifteen
marathon.
thirty eight.
Yeah, basically ran your half marathon PR or close to it, and then continued for another half marathon.
Well, here's the thing. I went through that half marathon, and like I was like, cool. Like I was feeling good at the halfway mark. So um, I kind of just like thought to myself, all right, like let's just see what happens over the next. Especially, I think like for myself, when I've ran marathons before, I always try to get to halfway, and then I mentally try to. I mentally go. I try to take. Sorry, I mentally try to just like get through the next 5 kilometers and then get through the next 5K. So I remember the next 5K after the 21, I did slightly feel a little bit of a pinch there for some reason, but it was only slight. My pacing went from like a 3:35 to like 3:40, 3:43, 3:40, 3:39. 3:43. So it did slightly decrease. But then I was able to hold on to pretty much exactly the same up until the 30 kilometer mark. And then like not drastically, but then the marathon hit me, like my last 12 kilometers were um per kilometer 3:48, 3:46, 3:51, 3:51, 3:49. Here we go. 3:55, 3:53, 3:53, 3:59, 3:54, 4 minutes, 4:02. So I think like from my end, coming in at a 2:37, I'm very proud of that, by the way. But interesting to see the splits, right? Like I'm not one, and I think you'd be similar, Anthony. Like I'm not surprised that I ended up feeling it by the 35 kilometer mark because we didn't really get proper solid long runs in our prep. But the biggest thing that I'm proud of is like I think if I did this without the last 2 years of like consistent running, that would have like my last 5, 6K could have blown out to like 4:30 or 5 minute Ks. Whereas like because of my consistency over my last 18 months to 2 years of running, my blow up was only down to 4 minute Ks. So that's what I'm kind of like, that's how I view it, right? So um but man, those last 5K, if you have ran a marathon before and you've felt the last 5K of a marathon, like you'll understand how I don't know how mentally and physically, of course, but mentally um painful they are.
Yeah, I mean, first off, congratulations. Did you say already? I don't think I heard you say that's a PR marathon.
It's
Um,
a 13-minute PR.
13-minute PR.
Yeah.
Fantastic job. Number two on that. Um, when's the last time you ran a marathon?
So it was about 4 years ago.
So
And I did a
four,
3 hour marathon right on the nose. 3 hours.
so 4 years ago, you said 2 years of consistent running is what got you. I guarantee you're heavier than the last picture you sent me from that marathon.
Definitely.
Uh,
Yep.
so you added size and you ran a 13-minute PR.
Yep.
You ran much stronger. So that's fantastic. Just absolutely like lifting weights, marathon runners should do it, I think. Um, not. maybe to the extent you're doing it, but I think it was very beneficial. Um, Number two, we'll get into this in just a second. Don't let me forget. Actually, I'm just going to write it down and we'll keep on talking about what we're talking about. Um, because you had a lot going into this marathon. You're right. We did not prep the way that I would probably prep you for a marathon. And the biggest part of that was number one, right after Worlds, we didn't have time to ramp you up into a long run. I would have liked to have given you like a 32-kilometer long run, but w when would we have ever done that? You hadn't
Yeah.
ran that far in I don't know how long, and I'm not just gonna like, hey, let's go run 32K at one time, you know?
Yeah.
So you didn't have your long run in there. But anybody at home, that's about 20 miles. Uh,
Yeah.
so you're missing it. And since we only had 4 weeks, basically, I couldn't like, hey, let's do a 16 miler, which is, I don't know how many K that is.
28K maybe,
Maybe, yeah. Uh,
26.
no, yeah, it'd be like, yeah, 25. Like, 24, 25. Like I would have been like, all right, let's do that. And then a week or two later, let's do a little bit more, and then we'll do a 20.
Yeah.
But you should do that 20 like 2 weeks out from your marathon. We had 4 weeks. We
Mm.
couldn't like bump you up. Like the longest you'd ran at that point uh was maybe a 25K in the last 4 months.
Yeah, I did a 20. I remember leading into Worlds, I did a 23. You programmed me a 23K with
Yeah.
a bit of cut down, with a bit of efforts involved, but 23K, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the longest one you did. So just imagine that's about 15 miles,
Yeah,
um, which is like 60% of a marathon.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
and so that one, yeah, I mean, that's the longest she'd ran. So really what the program we were talking about was missing was a long run.
Yep.
But this is what I want to get to a little bit. Tell me, because you had an idea going into this marathon, your fueling strategy. Let's talk about that. How that went, what you did. Why don't you lay out
Yeah.
what you did?
I think in hindsight, just to start that off, I could have definitely had more, full stop period. But my fueling strategy was I purposely woke up earlier than probably anyone on the Sunshine Coast that morning. Well, sorry, no, that's not right. I think a lot of people would have woken up at 3:30 for a 6 a.m. start. So I had I had my breakfast at about 3:45 a.m., which I never do, like obviously, right? So I wasn't even hungry, but got my oats and had my oats and then had some toast. So I was fueled before the race. I did very well to be fueled before the race. To then like I decided that that first half an hour to 40 minutes, so first 10 kilometers was going to be very crucial. I ended up having about 90 grams of carbs by the 10-kilometer mark. Um, and to then have my first hour, I ended up having 110 grams of carbs, which I think was, and it felt great. I felt fine, felt fantastic. Obviously, was running smooth, and then I pretty much did exactly the same for the second hour. Pretty much had a 100 to 105, I think, within the second hour. And I ended up, so that was about a 210 to 215 grams by the 2 hour mark. Um, for some reason, I think more so to do with how full I felt, or just didn't at the 2 hour mark, which is what that would have been around the 34-kilometer mark, 35-kilometer mark. Um, I kind of stopped. I just stopped having fueling. Like on the way, I was having the hydration at every fuel station or water station. but I actually stopped my carb intake at the 2 hour mark. So I still had 37 minutes to go, or um, give or take. So now in hindsight, going back to it, I think I should have probably had kept kept fueling, kept having a little bit more carbohydrates, probably up until around the 38 kilometer mark. Because I think maybe that would have like held me in better stead. But yeah, so that's what I ended up doing. And for me personally, I did and I have like practiced that. Not that we did, as Anthony just said, not that I did a proper long run in my prep, but I feel like that on my threshold runs a lot. I'm taking like gels all the time in my training. So I think my body and my tummy is fairly used to that carbohydrate intake. So but yeah, in hindsight, I think I should have I think I could have kept my carb intake to around the 215 or the 220 mark.
Yeah. And when you told me this the first time, you, I don't know if you told me the breakdown that like you just did, but you had said what else you were or how many grams per hour you're consuming. So in the first hour you said like 130, 135, and then the second hour was like 90, right? It's a big drop off.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. It was like 120 and then something like 80,
Okay.
something like that. So whereas like and then I remember messaging you that afterwards and you pretty much said like it kind of should not the other way around, but I kind of should have just done 120 again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, And like the reason is because like think about it, like my body's already an hour and a half into energy output. My body's probably needing more than what I started with, right? So yeah, I pretty much probably should have topped up a lot more in and around that like 90 minutes to 2 hour range than what I did.
Yeah. What gels were you using? What
So
stuff?
yeah, I was like the last 4 weeks I've been loving the precision gels from TheFeed. I've been taking the big 90 gram precision gels. They've got this big one with 90 grams of carbs, pretty much just carbs. And I also had a couple of Morton ones, the Morton 160s with 40 grams of 40 grams of carbs. So and of course you can get them from thefeed.com. So yeah, so but yeah, it's interesting because in hindsight, right? Like hindsight's a beautiful thing. I think I should have done a little bit more earlier on in the race, but yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, how did it compare to what our strategy was? And you can talk about what that was going into the race because we had talked about how you were going to eat, when you were going to eat, what you were going to take, and all that.
So yeah, like I pretty much did exactly what we spoke about up until the halfway point for me. And time domain, that was probably like the 1 hour, like almost the 1 hour 20 mark, right? But I pretty much like um had the 120 to 125 grams that I had like at by the 21 kilometer mark. And like if you think about it, and if you look at my data, that's when I was still running very well. Um, but after that, um, I just tried to stomach the gels. I tried to get as much down, but that just slowly diminished over the time. So um, yeah, I think yeah, next time I'll be definitely trying to do a little bit more. Probably more so, as I just said, in between that like 21 to 30 kilometer mark. So yeah.
Right. And I think you did good on the fueling strategy. Beforehand, you and I talked about it, and we said, hey, there's a water station at every 5K, so why don't you try taking a gel like at 4.5K so that you take the gel and you lead right into the water station, and you can wash it out your mouth
Yep.
and keep on running. And you did a really good job for the most part of that carrying through. Obviously, maybe we should have upped it a little bit on the back end. Um, but I think I really like you did a really strong first with still a half marathon to go. Um,
Yep.
but you did just going back a little bit here, not even before the nutrition, what we were talking about is your actual race. So I saw your splits. I think you posted your Strava for anybody to see, so they can go take a look. Your your pace per mile, which we'll just I know we could talk about kilometers, but just for anybody that missed he said you did a 338, 342 per kilometer pace.
It was a 3:42 per kilometer pace at by the end. Yeah.
By the end. Yep. Which, so on average, that was a 5:59 or 6 minute per mile pace. So that's
Yep.
fine. Like it's a really strong marathon. 26.2 miles at 6 or sub 6 mile pace, 6 minute mile pace. And then you really kind of hit a small wall. It looks like in the pacing data, it tells a story that, hey, maybe JK hit a wall around halfway of that one, of your
Mhm.
17th, 16th, 17th mile. So just after 16, you're about 10 seconds slower per mile starting there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you deteriorate at like mile 21 or 22, which is like 8 to about yeah 8.5 9K left.
Yeah.
You dropped like another 20 seconds per mile down.
Yeah.
Um, so that like obviously hurt your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And talking before, you and I have already said this, that I think if we went back in time and instead of like having you go, okay, hold this pace for your dream marathon here, and then however long you can hang on after is what we're gonna do. If we went back and we wanted to do like perfect pacing for this, I actually think if you had just come out running at like 5:55 per mile, so just
Yeah.
barely faster, or even like a 5:52 per mile instead of
Mm.
you were pretty down there like 5:36, 5:40, and then you
Yeah.
deteriorated to like some 5:50s, and then like by the end, I think your slowest mile was like a 6:22 or something.
Yeah.
But I think if we had paced you in this marathon, now we don't know because your long run wasn't there, so maybe you still would have broken down. But if we'd paced you and said, "Hey, run a 5:55 or a 5:52," you'd be staring at like a 2:34 marathon.
Yeah. Yeah. As you said, hey, yeah. And look, like, but as if you've listened to us lately, guys, I was all like, we were always going to go out at a hotter pace just to make like just to give us the opportunity to do a 2:30 in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So,
You can't do it if you don't set yourself up to do it.
correct. Yeah. And I remember having that chat to you at what was that like 4:15 a.m. in the morning before my marathon. You pretty much summed it up quite well. It's like, well, if you don't go out at the pace like you want to hold for your marathon, you're not going to negative split a marathon.
No.
So, um, yeah, hence why,
You're not an experienced marathon runner, and there's very few people I think could that are
yeah,
even that experienced to negative split a marathon.
exactly,
Like I knew
exactly.
if you ran a 1:15 like you did in the front half, you weren't running another 1:15.
No, not at all, not at all. What was interesting, was my heart rate.
Yeah.
Um, really interesting. And just to preface, like I've been running all my life. That was my seventh marathon. I can't remember how many like half marathon builds I've had. I've ran a lot. And hence why my heart rate was very controlled the whole way through. I'm having a look at it now. Like my average heart rate was 152 beats per minute. And look, again, I'm the first to say how accurate that is. That was from my bicep band, but also yeah, it's like 152 beats a minute. My max heart rate actually was 164, and that was on the small climb that I had at the 6K mark. So I didn't end up going over 164 beats a minute. So
Yeah.
um, very controlled, which I was very pleased with.
And anybody that doesn't know, like that, according to your watch, that was your zone three. Um,
Yeah.
we don't know how to test it. I just heard you say though that you used your bicep band doing that blood flow restriction during your marathon. You're horrible.
It's
Uh,
not good. Yeah.
so great job. I just like anybody out there listening, that's JK's marathon is absolutely awesome. Very happy with it, very proud of it. It was great to see you go out there and do it. Hit a 13-minute PR. I think quite a few people who would be very happy with a 13-minute PR, and that wouldn't even get him to the world record. And I'm talking about this guy. I can't, if I
Yeah.
had a 13-minute PR in my High Rocks, I still wouldn't beat JK's best time.
But yeah, guys, so all in all, I'm very proud and super excited that that's done and dusted now, actually. And you know, it's exciting that we're already on our way to or we're already in our prep for Hamburg now, which
Yeah,
is exciting.
gonna start preparing for Hamburg. Super excited for that. Should be a great race. Uh, and we are, oh man, is it math time? 8 weeks out, 9 weeks out?
I think it's 8 weeks as of tomorrow. 8 weeks as
Eight
of
weeks
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just absolutely exciting. Um, JK, are you doing another marathon anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, but you know, like I like the idea of ticking a marathon off once a year or something like that. So maybe this time next year I'll end up having another one, but or maybe this time next year, like I like the idea of trying to trying to get a faster half marathon maybe this time. Who
Okay.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Every year you've doubled so far. You did a half marathon, now a marathon. Next year's gonna be
Yeah.
an ultra.
Oh, I don't know
Um,
about that. I don't know about that.
so,
Um,
um, what other races are on the horizon for you now? What's it look like?
well, right now, obviously Hamburg is my next race, which is I think it's October 3rd. So we've got the 8 weeks prep for that. Um, and then obviously that's the first HYROX major for the year, which for those of you who aren't aware, every year there's four majors, and this year, like all the majors are 9 or 10 weeks apart, which is pretty consistent, which is nice. So I've got Hamburg, and then the next one will be Melbourne at the end of the year as well. So those are my next two races coming up, which I'm really excited to get back into. proper HYROX training. And like I think this marathon gave me, it was good to just not really care about like all the other not that we didn't, like I've been squatting, I've been like doing a lot of gym work, but it was good to just get myself focusing on something else rather than HYROX.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited now mentally to get back into the structured training that we do for HYROX.
Yep. So just a quick touch on what that is. JK is going to be experiencing a double threshold base, a little bit of strength training, lots of GPP, applied strength, and then getting into his strength runs again before he maybe starts 4 weeks-ish out, hitting a couple high rock specific workouts leading into the event.
Yep.
Um,
That's it.
I mean, maybe this is asking the obvious, JK. You get the ticket for Hamburg, you're going to Hamburg.
If I get the ticket to Hamburg.
You get the invite to go to Hamburg, you're gonna go to Hamburg. You have an auto qualifier, so you get to go to any
Oh,
ones you want. Um,
yes, I will be going to Hamburg. Yeah.
so confirmed right there, JK in Hamburg. The other thing on that was what about doubles? Do
Double.
we
So
finally get to see you and Jake Dearden race the elite field?
yeah, yeah.
Got
So that's the
robbed of
plan
it
right
at
now.
Worlds.
That's the plan right now. So I'm super excited for that. And been speaking to Jake. Jake's obviously back on track with his training, which is good. So you can count us in for the Hamburg Elite 15 doubles race.
Nice. And then um, let's not spoil the surprise, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But let's just say there might be another race that I'm fortunate enough to be teaming up with.
Maybe. Well, I mean,
Maybe.
not maybe, but let's wait.
Yeah, let's wait.
See if anybody wants to
Maybe.
comment and guess what the other races are.
Watch this
Wait.
space.
Yeah. Watch this space. You guys can ask later on if you want to announce it or if
Yeah.
Hyrox wants to announce whatever it is. Um, okay. Great. What's
Enough about me, mate. How's so as Anthony said at the start, you're over in the UK. How's it all going over there?
this was my first time in the UK. Uh,
Yeah.
I've been to mainland Europe. I've actually been to Spain and France and Germany before. Those are the other countries in Europe I visited. I was in the Amsterdam airport, but I don't count that as visiting. Uh, and then I've also been to Tanzania in Africa, but first time in Europe, the UK. I am up here. I was invited actually a few months ago, like February of this past year, to come to this HYROX or Red Bull HYROX Coaches Camp. Um, if you if you go watch HYROX 365 on Instagram, or even go look at HYROX World or HYROX Academy, or like really any of the coaches that are here, there's 60 coaches here. It was an application process, so coaches all around the world. We have people from New Zealand that I've met. I've met people from Korea and China and lots of coaches from Europe. There's a couple other coaches from the USA. There's Australian coaches. So many great people. I would list all their names, but there's just so many. Um, that it's been fantastic. So these coaches, like I said, it was an application for a lot of them to get here, and they were accepted, and 60 coaches was the cap, and Red Bull is sponsoring this Red Bull HYROX Coaches Camp. They flew us out here and to the UK. I landed in London, took a train up to Milton Keynes, and then got a bus ride over to the Silverstone racetrack where they hold the British Grand Prix, the F1 British Grand Prix. Um, and I don't know how to explain it except for this has been an amazing experience. The networking and the talking to coaches, they had coaches from their APC, which is their Athletic Performance Center, uh, talk to us about uh, coaching for the unknown. We did breakout workshops where we worked all together on different things like this. We got a their nutritionist or dietitian for the Red Bull cycling team, and for other athletes as well. But he used cycling as demonstrations uh, to create personalized, to walk us through how he creates personalized nutrition plans. Um, we met Olympic silver medalist in BMX and got to hear how he trains and asked our opinions on how somebody would train him to go after the gold medal and programming in various different sports. So lots of really cool stuff. Again, um, and then we got to tour the F1 facilities. I, the day before, I'm actually out here in two capacities. I'm asked and I am allowed to say this now. So I, uh, I was also flown out because I am helping to create the HYROX Level 2 course. So HYROX has their foundations course and they have their Level 1 course. They are creating a HYROX Level 2 course for coaches to get certified, and I'm a part of that and helping. So I flew out here so they could get video content with me demonstrating and walking through various pieces of the modules that I'm involved in with that, which is actually three different modules. It is of the level two. I'm actually part of module four. Me and Hide Wurzma are putting that together. And then module seven, I'm one of the experts describing the each station of HYROX and how how to properly perform and move for that. And I'm also doing what's called module 10, which is just like a little snippet of coaching high performance athletes. And so they asked me to kind of talk through the difference of what it's like coaching general population, an aspiring elite athlete, and high performance athletes at that level, as well as that is a short piece of the level two. And I'll be doing a spin-off course of that for continuing education units, which is directly all about that, coaching high performance athletes. So that was the second capacity that I was flown out here in. But we we got to do so much here at Red Bull. So actually, the first day was early. Nobody had talked to us about the rules, and I think you see I have a little. I think I sent you the picture, JK. I tried to sit inside a Formula One car, uh,
Yeah.
and I don't fit. Like those guys' hips are
Really?
so
What do you mean
narrow.
you don't fit?
I mean, I can't sit in the driver's seat. I
Wow.
can't get my body inside that car.
So
Uh,
it's small.
oh yeah, very
Wow.
small. Um, and I found out that Suki or not Suki, Yuki Sonoda is actually like 5'1" and like 48 kilograms or 54 kilograms or something like that. He's not very big at all. Uh,
Mm.
Found out that there's a minimum weight on these Formula One cars with the driver and the car all together, plus weight that they have to equal minimum of 800 kilograms. And
Right.
in some of these drivers' cars, I don't know if they do it to Verstappen's, but in Sonoda's car, they actually have to put these weighted plates under his seat to get him to the weight in the car within
Wow.
the cockpit area. Uh,
Right. So
so
interesting.
but he's tiny and
Yeah.
I don't fit within I can't even slide down into the seat. Uh
Yeah.
and I know I'm wide, but I'm not like a huge
No.
person. And it was just interesting. They are small, and
Mm.
we got walked through. We got to see that. We got to see like all their trophies and everything. We got walked through their how they manufacture the cars in their R&D department and like their self-manufacturing and processing. They showed us like what parts they buy and what parts they actually buy from competitors and what parts they're making. They made this whole giant building where they're actually going to start building their own engines instead of buying their engines from Aston Martin. Uh,
Yep.
so like some really, really cool stuff. As well as just like seeing these other high performance cars, their heritage cars. We worked out in a HYROX performance center that was set up inside their heritage car area. So there's just, I don't know if you saw that. There's like
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
stacks
Looks sick.
of stacks of old F1 cars outside this gym. So we're just like on the ski erg with an F1 car in front, multiple F1 cars in front of us, 3 layers, 3 or 4 layers high. Just dude, it's been such an experience. On top of like just everything else. But one thing that I did notice is I don't know if they expected us all to be like these pro athlete coaches, because day one we get here, hey, you need to go do your performance readiness test. So I walk over down to this garage, and they're like, all right, you got to do these jumps. We're going to measure your broad jump distance. We're going to do like your pogo jumps, like all these things. And then, all right, you got a 20-second all out effort on the ski erg. Okay, did that. All right, now you got a 20-second all out effort on the rower. Okay, all my power's gone. I've just been jumping, doing plyos, and they're like, "All right, now you have a 2K on the rower for max effort." I was like, "Oh God!" So, uh, I did it. I did it
And
okay.
what what did you end up doing for your 2K?
So on the 2K, I did a 6:57. Uh,
So just under that 7 minute
yeah. Well,
mark. Well done.
that's kind of a consistent place for me. Just under 7. I looked
Yeah.
at my past 2Ks because I log everything, JK, I
Yeah.
I have my own logging system and I looked it up and the last 2K row I did was over 2 years ago. It was 2 years and 3 months ago, May of 2023, and I did a 6:58.
Wow.
My my lifetime
You
PR
beat
is
it.
a 6:48, I think. Uh,
Yep.
and this time, so I was like, I did a 6:47 or a 6:57. I was like 9 seconds off. Like, that's not
It's
terrible.
not too bad.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 8.5 to 9 seconds off. So
Yeah.
not a horrible like issue. I
Yeah.
was able to maintain. I started out, I did really good on my pacing, and I never do good on my pacing. Uh, I did really good pacing it out. I was like, I should have taken a picture of my splits because I was probably like first 500 like 144, second 500 like 144.5, third 500 was probably like 145.3, and then
Yeah.
uh my uh when I got
You
to
can
what did I get to when I got to about
1500.
300 meters left.
Yeah.
Um, I'd been up at like 146 and I was like, all right, time to hammer down. So 300 meters left. I just started pulling, hitting it
Last
pretty
minute.
freaking hard, about a minute left,
Yeah.
and ended up being able to hold between like a 140 to 142 for that one. Uh,
Yeah.
and just
Nice.
brought it down to that one, 657.
Nice. Nice. That's actually harder than it actually sounds, right? Like
Yeah.
a sub 7 minute 2K. So apart from that, I've seen you guys have actually done like a lot of workouts. You've
Oh my
done
God.
a few other workouts, hey?
So, buddy, since World Championships, it has been almost 2 months, and I have done easy runs, a couple of strength sessions, just like
Mm.
easy strength, and like some easy workouts. I think I
Yeah.
messaged you the other day, like I was having trouble getting back into the workouts. So I started doing like just 1 hour continuous movement,
Yeah.
mixed modality stuff. Dude, I have not been going intense. And I was like, before I got on my airplane to fly here, I was like, all right, Anthony, you should do a threshold workout. You're about to have a really long travel. So I did
Yeah.
like my first threshold run since before World Championships. And I was like, oh, I feel really good. I get here. The first thing they have us do is like plyos, short sprints, and a 2K row for time. Then the next morning, 6 a.m. call out. I have like this HYROX workout that's like that they had us do 8 minutes max meters on the rower. I'm like, we just did that. But
Yeah.
8 minutes max meters on the rower, 2 minutes rest, 4 minutes max or max burpee broad jumps, right into 4 minutes of max reverse lunges, 2 minutes rest, 8 minutes max meters on the ski erg, 2 minutes rest, and then 4 minutes max wall balls.
Holy
So,
shit.
so I'm like 28 minutes of pretty intense work there,
Yeah. Yeah.
with pretty short rest, and I am dying, getting sore already, right? Then that afternoon, that was the morning workout. That afternoon, we were in the HYROX Performance Center within the Red Bull MK7 facility. And the workout that we did was 3 minutes on, 15 seconds off, 5 different zones. You had to go through them all twice. So three
Yeah.
minutes spent at each one and basically 15 seconds to transition.
Yeah.
My team, we not this wasn't team one. This was like some stations were partner. Uh, like the ski erg was a partner. But it was supposed to be ski erg at an RPE 9, alternating with your partner like every 10 strokes. Uh,
Yeah.
then we would go to sled push or sled pull on the new
Mm.
HYROX turf, going back and forth. It's laid down within the zone. I can tell you they had old sleds, but lanes 1 and 6, I couldn't push at all. And then lane 2 to 5 was uh
Really?
yeah, probably
That's
should
not
have
good.
over lifted and flew. Uh,
I don't like hearing that.
but so we
Oh,
did we would do the back and forth for 3 minutes, pushing or pulling, and then we get on the rower, and it was 3 minutes of rowing, and then we did 3 minutes of wall balls, and then it was 3 minutes of running at a 7.5 RPE.
yeah.
Then it was another round of all that. So that was 30 minutes of work
Yeah.
within that workout. So I'm exhausted. Like I told you, I think earlier in this, I got home. I got back to this, it's like an apartment. It's really nice that we're staying in. It's got a little kitchenette, bed down the hallway, and then bathroom's nice. It's like a rain shower. You just stand under it and it rains on you.
Oh,
Uh,
that's sick.
so, anyways, like I can't even express how great and nice we've all been treated here, and like just like the absolute like luxury they've provided and the experiences they've provided, so fantastic. But that was the workout. I passed out when I got back home. I laid down on the
Yeah.
bed to talk to Lauren, and then as soon as we hung up, like all of a sudden, I was out for 3 hours, waking up in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, having to go back and shower and then get back to bed because we had another run this morning. We got to run on the F1 Silverstone track. And I'm trying to figure it out right now. I'm gonna make it a Strava segment because nobody will
Yeah.
ever run
Sick.
it again.
No, correct.
And I was one of the faster people on it, so as long as nobody else does it, like I
Yeah.
got the Strava segment on the
Yeah.
British Grand Prix Silverstone track. So super fun. Uh, just I, I can't even express like the experience that was and like the opportunity we were given for that.
Yeah.
Super cool. And I finish, and there's some guys here that know me, and they come up and they're like, "So we run some strides now?" Uh, I was like, "Let's do it." So we got to run
Yeah.
some sprints or some strides on the F1 track. Just absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So,
Um, and then the last workout, and I'm not done telling you about everything we've done here, but the last workout was a big workout tonight. It was also in the pit race. It was called a pit race. So we're in the pit crew area. We're in the garages where the like usually all the different cars are, right? So down in their
yeah.
pit stops where they say box, box, box. That's where they drive down to. Um, and it's right next to like also the finish line. So there's like
Yeah.
this big area. Um, we were in these garages and they tricked them out. Like they got lifting platforms with mats on them, barbells, weights, ski ergs, rowers, C2 bikes, assault bikes, foam boxes. They set up rigs. They set
Mm,
up multiple 8 stations of rigs
that's sick.
for like pull-up bars and hanging.
Yeah.
They have these F1 tires laying out there as well, like a stack of tires by each platform and these giant jerry cans filled to different weights, all laid out there as well. They got timing mats sitting across like the garage entrance, like totally cool. Um, and we had a workout. I believe it was programmed by Jake Dearden. So I'm just going to go through what it was. It was 10 rounds, and we were in teams of four. So I'll explain this too. There was a group of 60 coaches here, and we were all randomly assigned to be in a group of four. And there were like 12, so there were 15 different teams of the coaches, plus some of the staff like Lauren Smith, Piers Plowman, Ralph, Ivan, just like more, there was more staff there as well. So it made up like almost 20 teams. And then there was these like local athletes that came from a local gym that like put
Right.
together their own super team from their gym to also do it.
Yeah.
Because it got pretty good. They give out flags for the top three for this event, right? Like those HYROX flags it said, but
Right.
it said like HYROX RedBull HYROX Coaches Camp, and it was the pit race thing. They got flags first, second, third. Uh, so the race itself, teams of four, you could break it up however you wanted, but you had to do 10 rounds of 10 clean and jerk, 10 squats with an F1 tire. So guys had to pick the tire all the way up to their shoulders. Girls just had to hold it.
Right.
It's got a rim in it
Yeah.
and everything. It's not a light tire, not super heavy, but like you'd have to pick it up. Um, So 10 clean and jerks, 10 squats with the tire, 10 burpees over the bar. Once your team finished 10 rounds of that, you had to go on a run out of the pit area, down the entrance ramp, around the finish line to the exit area of the pit, and then back to your garage. Um, which they told us originally was 1.7K, but I tracked it, and so did a lot of other people, and it was 2K. It was a 2K
Really?
run.
Yeah.
So we did that. So that was first. And then the next station that you had to do is when you came in, was you had to accumulate 5.9 kilometers between the C2 bike, the ski erg, and the rower, but you were allowed a maximum of only 1.9 of those kilometers on the bike. So basically, it was like you had to do 1.9 kilometers on the bike and then 4 kilometers in some combination on the rower and the ski erg as a team. Um, so we like switched off on the ski erg and had one guy just rowing. We ended up doing like 2,200 meters of the ski erg while he did 1,800 on the rower. Um, and then we ran again. Uh, this was
Yeah.
teams. Most of the teams were like 2 men, 2 women, or 3 men, 1 woman. Uh, and so then we ran. The next station was uh, two athletes had to dead hang from the rig, while the other two athletes had to go down and back from the end of the garage to the front of the garage with F1 tires that were different weights put them down on each side and then pick them back up and run back. You had to do 21 reps of that.
Wow.
Uh, what and if somebody dropped from the dead hang, that rep would be a no rep.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Did you drop?
I think we had one no rep where somebody dropped. They came down early. Um, so we ended up doing 21 of those. And then, no, we had two. We had two no reps because we still ended on the far side. Where like one of the athletes on our team, like, uh, I think he just put his foot down when the athlete on his side came across instead of the other athlete, which like that's a no rep because both athletes had to be up.
Yeah.
Um, and then you run around the 2K again. And then we get back and we had to do 100 box jump overs with 100 calories on the assault bike. And you could break that up anyhow. And then you run again. And then we had to do the jerry cans. So there's five jerry cans and four teammates. And you had to like carry them however you wanted, but you had to get them 400 meters. So 100 down, 100 back, 100 down, 100 back. Um, and once you finish that, you would put the jerry cans down, and they weighed anything from 24 kilos to 32 kilos. So that's 53 pounds,
Oh,
70 pounds. And, and then you ran again. And when you got back, you had to run through the finisher's gate to the finish line of the Grand Prix. And there were two F1 cars waiting on in the pole positions. Uh,
yeah.
is that right? No, they were waiting. Actually, they were in the back, not in the front. Pole position would be front. Uh, they waited in the back, and each of your teammates had to use the rope, and you weren't allowed to like walk back in a high rocks. You had to leave your feet planted and arm over arm. These 800-kilogram cars. They had somebody sitting in the driver's seat of them. You had to have one of your teammates 800 kilos, pull it 25 meters, next teammate. So we did 100 meters total. And then once you finish that, you would run across the finish line. Uh,
Yeah.
I just told you,
Did you win?
I believe so the team that had like the local star super studs, that's the team
Yeah.
that won. They didn't win by a lot. I think they beat another team. The second place team actually had to have they had a member drop out, finished second with three other people. So I guess like it's a detriment on the stations. And then third place was a team that was a mix of some of the coaches and the HYROX 365 staff. They
Hmm.
finished third, and then Zara and her team finished fourth. Um, and then there were two more teams, and then my team finished seventh. So we were like seventh out of 20. Wasn't so bad.
It's
Uh,
not too bad.
I think I think in total it took us 86 minutes. So
That's a big workout.
that was a big workout.
It's a
Uh,
massive workout.
and so yeah, it was interesting. It was a really fun time, but for me, it's been like 4 straight days of pretty
Yeah.
intense working out that I haven't
Yeah.
done in 2 months.
Yeah.
Uh,
So how many more days left?
so tomorrow morning is like, or tomorrow's gonna be a half day, and then we all disperse and we
Okay.
all travel back home.
Yeah.
My my other thing I was gonna say though is some of this other stuff we did besides just the workouts. Like I said, we did that. They talked the Athlete Performance Center for Red Bull. They had their coaches come and talk to us. With a nutritionist, he came and talked to us. They talked about like, um, you know, just some really cool things that cyclists are doing now too. They brought out some of Red Bull's marketing team, and we had like one seminar, it was about an hour long on content posting as a coach, like what do you
Hmm.
do, how do you structure it, like that kind of stuff. So it's good for a lot of coaches to like get out there and market themselves. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we also had another talk. Jane Erbacher with Erg Army is also here as one of the coaches, and uh, she's doing the level two teaching people the ski erg and the rower. So she
Yep.
was also part of HYROX 365 with me, and her and I have been chatting, but she decided that tomorrow, the in the morning, she's gonna do a impromptu, or not impromptu, because they announced that she's gonna do it, but like a last minute get up at 7. Tomorrow's workout will be an erg session with Jane, who's gonna teach us like things to do. Uh, and so it was just really good. There's been a lot of communication here, like between a lot of the different coaches. Just some really, really awesome stuff.
That's awesome.
We They also have they fed us some pretty good food. I've
Really?
always been wary of British food. Some of the things that I've
Yeah.
heard um doesn't have the best reputation, but I was like, I'm just gonna try everything, and I've been eating a lot of really good food that's been prepared here at this facility. They've taken very good care of us, as well as we got to do a rally car experience this evening. So after that workout, they bust us over to the rally track. And do you know what a rally car is?
Not really. Like I was going to
It's like a
ask you,
Honda
what's a
Subaru.
rally
It's like
car?
a Honda Subaru that's like tricked up.
Right.
They go drive on dirt and hills and stuff, and they like spin out, and then
Yeah. Yeah. I've
so good, and
seen.
they zoom, and then
Yeah.
they like do donuts around a Red Bull can that they're like like hitting these things. We got this Red Bull. I'm gonna post something actually. I don't think I'm gonna post the drive. They suit us up, they put us in helmets, and they put us in the passenger seat of these rally cars. And then I'm like sitting there with my phone trying to film like the rally car experience. But man, they go around these like hairpin turns. They're going like 50 miles an hour on this dirt, and then all of a sudden they hit the brake and pull like an e-brake and like spin and counter turn. And it's like they spin out around this corner and you're going like sideways in this car. You're like, oh, and then you're heading out, driving fast again. I was like, this is so
That's
cool.
sick. That's
Um,
sick.
so they spun all of us around. And then they just had a final dinner slash after party that was pretty neat, where we all got to network and talk to each other.
Yeah. Cool.
Super
Cool.
cool
Cool.
experience.
And there's going to be more conferences like this.
Yeah, so Inside
Yeah.
Scoop, talking to them, there's going to be more summits. So this one was a
Summits.
big
Yeah.
experience. This one was a big experience with Red Bull. Uh, there's going to be more summits coming up in the future, uh, where like it's definitely going to be more education and uh, stuff like that for the coaches.
Yep.
Um, and I still think there's a lot of benefit, but they might do this here next year. They might do this at a different Red Bull facility next year or a different track. Uh,
Yep.
I mean, I'm hoping, Las Vegas has an F1 track. Maybe they just want to fly everybody there, and we could just do the F1, like
Yep.
do the thing there, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like Las Vegas's F1 track is not a permanent. It is not a permanent track, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would do it there, but it's pretty cool. They talked about Salzburg. I believe Red Bull has a facility there. That could be a
Salzburg.
possibility for
Yep.
next year. So it's just if Red Bull's open to it, but super cool.
That's cool.
JK, I've been telling you about this that's going to happen for a while now. Now that you've kind of seen what's going on, do you want to come here if it's
Absolutely.
if it's
Yeah.
again next year? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that um, there might there might be a reason for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I, I just people that they would be like, all right, JK, let me see your application. Thank you. If you're
Yeah.
not invited, you should be invited though.
Yeah. But I'd love the opportunity, especially if they're going to continue to develop the sport and develop the I guess like the coaching and the programming side of things, and with people like yourself, mate. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool that like Hyrox and obviously like Red Bull, of course, have the partnership together. So,
Yeah. And I got to,
right.
that's another thing. I did get to talk to a few people, and we're actually also going to just have like a sit down of programming, coaching, brainstorm and stuff tomorrow morning at the breakfast before the end of the half day there.
That's cool.
We're gonna be able to go through just methods, means, you know, coaching philosophy, training philosophy,
Yep.
uh,
That's awesome.
training theory. It's just a theory for everyone, so
Yeah.
it's just what their ideas are. So it's gonna be super cool.
Um,
Might
Mate, I've got to run. I've got
okay.
to shoot off. I also have a 5K ski to do today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yours isn't
So,
for time though.
hey,
Yours isn't for time.
what do you mean?
Isn't it say easy?
No. How
Oh,
dare you? You should know that, coach.
you're a day ahead of me.
Yeah, Thursday, I've got 5K ski test today.
Oh.
So I've got
Think
my
you can, what do you think you're
first
gonna get?
threshold. I've got my first threshold run back today from my marathon. And
It's
then
light. You've been pretty light this week because you're
uh,
back from a marathon.
yeah, yeah. So thresholds back today. But then I've got my ski test, 5K ski test. I'm trying to work out what I'm gonna try to hold at the start and then just hold on. But again, just if you are listening to this, the reason behind that is to establish my ski threshold pace. So it's not necessarily like yes, I'm I'm gonna go like very hard, but yeah, it's not what's the right words here? Like it's not like
It's not just because there's
yeah,
actually
it's not just because that
we're
there's a measuring
you
like we're measuring.
we're trying to dial in some of your training as you lead into Hamburg. So
Correct.
a 5K ski test will help us do that.
Yeah.
And then I do know this week you are doing, you have a day rest actually after that, and not rest, but like kind of easy day. And then
Yeah.
you are doing that's what we didn't talk about, the CrossFit Games.
I
We'll have to do that
know.
another time. Um,
Next week we'll talk about it.
we'll
We'll
talk about it because you are doing the CrossFit Games event number one this weekend.
yeah.
What do you think your time's
Four,
going to be?
which is 4 mile run, which is 6.4K, 3K row, 2 mile run, which is 3.2K. Um, I think my time will be whatever you said the other day, Anthony. Because you know me as well as I do. I think you said 44 something. But hey, no, let's leave this. Let's leave this until I do it because I'd rather do it. And then we'll talk about it. But I reckon I'll be able to do, yeah, maybe 45. Maybe 45.
All right, I'm very curious what you're gonna do. I I think you beat the top CrossFitter by more than 2 minutes. Assuming their distances were right.
Assuming that, yes. Assuming that. But we'll see. Um, Thanks, Anthony. I've got to run, but thanks for the chat once again and enjoy your last 24 hours
Yep.
uh, at, at, at the summit. And if you're listening, thank you so much once again for listening. If you have any questions or want to get in touch, please don't hesitate to jk.jameskelly on Instagram.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. And I appreciate you chatting with me, JK, as I'm about to get to ready and go to bed so we can
Yeah, I was about to
focus on
say
Red. Uh,
you need to get to sleep, Anthony.
I'm very tired.
Yeah.
Guys, also just real quick, if you do watch our Beyond the Grid show, Bernice is approaching that time where she's going to have a baby. She is 35, 36 weeks pregnant. Um,
35. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we will still be doing that show. I believe she's going to take a little maternal leave from it. So I will be responsible for getting other guests or myself just to do it. Obviously, we are actually recording this over the time that we would have been live. So that will actually pick up again next week. And then when Bernice is gone, we will still host the show.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Um, and if you want to be a guest on it, because you have opinions about High Rocks, let me know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out and get in contact with us, you can email the Hybrid Coaching Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram either at the Hybrid Engine or at jk.jameskelly. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.